Hey friends, welcome to our midweek moment. Pastor Nicole here. So glad you clicked on in a different space today than I normally am. I'm manning the main office today. But just wanted to hop on and talk a little bit more about our sermon this weekend. We were talking about anxiety, the demon of control, and how anxiety comes to us from fear. And when that fear rises in us, it takes over and can control how we think, how we feel, how we act if we allow it. And so we talked a little bit this weekend about things that we can do to bring ourselves out of that anxiety. Talked about breath prayer. We talked about seeing a therapist. We talked about the benefits of community, people that surround us, that speak truth into our life and remind us that the things that we are struggling with, that demon of anxiety is not necessarily speaking truth into our life. But I wanted to share a story that a parishioner shared with me this week that I just thought was such a wonderful reminder of how God meets us in our anxiety. This parishioner was having a major health scare, was at the hospital, and it was a very scary situation. And she shared with me that she had almost like a vision of scripture and all of these passages of scripture that she had read over her life, just reminding her that God is with her. And she saw the words and she heard the words, just scripture after scripture of God's reminder that she was not alone, that God was with her in that scary moment. And I thought, wow, what a powerful way to combat anxiety, that when we are afraid, if we can, if God gives us a wonderful experience like that, that can really be powerful. But even if that doesn't happen, if there are scriptures that we can pull to our mind to remind us that we are not alone, that God is with us, that no matter what we are going through, we're not walking that journey by ourselves. One of the things we talked about this weekend is that anxiety really tries to isolate us. It makes us feel alone and afraid, like nobody understands us, like nobody's been through this before, that we are having to do this by ourselves because nobody cares. And that's kind of the trick that anxiety plays on us, is trying to isolate us and get us alone. Because when we are alone, that's when fear swells up in us. And we've all had that experience before, right? Like when you're in bed in your room by yourself and it's dark and you hear something, it's a million times scarier than if somebody is in that room with you, right? Anxiety wants to keep us controlled and scared. That's what that does. And so when we can remind ourselves that, hey, this is a scary situation. I don't know what's going to happen. The uncertainty is overwhelming. But I know God is with me, and I know I'm not doing this by myself. That can bring us to a place where we may still be scared and we may still be anxious, but the anxiety may not be controlling us like it is when we kind of let it spiral out of control. Anxiety is a very real issue. People deal with it every day and in a spectrum, right? Some people have severe anxiety. Some people have a little anxiety. And it might just depend on the day, the time, the season in your life. It's okay to feel anxious, but when we allow that anxiety to take over and control us and keep us from doing what we want to do or what we need to do, that's when it becomes a problem. And so again, connecting with God, whether it's through scripture or through prayer, using that breath prayer is a great way to connect with God. Seeing a therapist, I cannot tell you how important it is when we're experiencing severe anxiety to be able to see a therapist that can help us address the anxiety and move through it. And then that community, the people in our life, whether it be your church family or others, that just remind you of how much you are loved and that you are not alone. So I hope you will be thinking about that this week. If you're struggling with anxiety, I hope that you will be able to use some of those tools, some of those tricks to help you move through that. And if you ever need to talk to somebody, of course, I'm here to listen. I'm here to help. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Join us this weekend as we talk about the demon of shame.